Top 10 Fastest Growing Industries by 2030. Imagine waking up in 2030 and realizing that some of the biggest industries in the world today are no longer the same. New technologies have changed how we work, travel, produce energy, protect our data, build products, and even take care of our health. Companies that seem small or experimental today could become some of the most valuable businesses of the next decade. The interesting part is that the future economy will not be controlled by just one technology. Artificial intelligence, automation, renewable energy, electric vehicles, cybersecurity, biotechnology, and advanced computing are developing at the same time. According to the World Economic Forum, technological change, the green transition, demographic shifts, and economic transformation are expected to reshape the global labor market through 2030. AI and big data, networks and cybersecurity, and technological literacy are among the fastest growing skill areas. So, which industries are positioned for the biggest growth? Today, we're counting down the top 10 fastest growing industries by 2030. Industries that could transform entire economies, create millions of opportunities, and generate enormous amounts of wealth. Number 10. Cybersecurity. The first industry on our list is cybersecurity. As the world becomes more digital, almost everything becomes a potential target. Banks, hospitals, governments, factories, schools, smartphones, cars, and even household appliances are increasingly connected to the internet. And whenever more valuable information moves online, the incentive for criminals to steal it becomes greater. Think about the amount of information in average company stores today. Customer names, passwords, payment information, financial records, employee data, intellectual property, and confidential business documents can all exist inside digital systems. A single successful attack can potentially create enormous financial and reputational damage. That means cybersecurity is no longer just an IT department problem. It has become a core business requirement. The cybersecurity industry includes everything from antivirus software and cloud security to identity management, network protection, threat intelligence, fraud detection, and security services powered by artificial intelligence. And AI itself is creating a fascinating new battle. Companies can use AI to identify unusual activity, detect suspicious patterns, and respond to threats faster. But attackers can also use AI to automate attacks, create more convincing scams, and search for vulnerabilities. This creates an endless technological arms race. The more connected the world becomes, the more security becomes necessary. The World Economic Forum ranks networks and cybersecurity among the fastest growing skill areas toward 2030, while security-related roles are also among the fastest growing occupations. By 2030, cybersecurity may not be something businesses simply purchase once. It could become a continuous service, constantly monitoring, predicting, and protecting digital infrastructure. And that makes cybersecurity one of the industries with enormous long-term potential. But the next industry could change something even more fundamental: how machines think. Number 9. Robotics and automation. For decades, robots were mostly associated with factories. Huge machines assembled cars, moved heavy materials, and performed repetitive tasks. But robotics is moving far beyond the factory floor. Modern robots are becoming more intelligent, flexible, mobile, and capable of working alongside humans. Warehouses can use robots to move products. Hospitals can use robotic systems to assist with specialized procedures. Agriculture can use machines to monitor crops. Construction companies can experiment with automated equipment. Restaurants and hotels are exploring service robots. And autonomous machines could eventually perform tasks that are dangerous or difficult for humans. The key change is the combination of robotics with artificial intelligence. A traditional machine follows instructions. An intelligent robot can increasingly observe its environment, process information, make decisions, and adapt. That difference is enormous. Imagine a warehouse where thousands of products are automatically identified, sorted, transported, and delivered without humans manually moving every box. Or imagine farms where autonomous machines monitor individual plants and apply water or nutrients precisely where needed. Or construction sites where robotic equipment performs dangerous repetitive work while humans focus on supervision and planning. The economic incentive is obvious. Companies want greater productivity, lower operating costs, and fewer workplace accidents. But automation will not necessarily mean humans disappear from the economy. Instead, the nature of work may change. The World Economic Forum expects robotics and autonomous systems to be among the major forces reshaping employment by 2030. At the same time, demand is growing for people who can design, operate, maintain, and manage these systems. The robot economy therefore creates a strange paradox. Machines may replace some tasks while simultaneously creating entirely new industries around them. And that brings us to the technology sitting at the center of almost everything on this list. Number 8. Artificial intelligence. If there is one technology capable of influencing almost every major industry by 2030, it is artificial intelligence. AI is not really one industry. It is more like an infrastructure layer that can transform hundreds of industries. Today, AI can write text, generate images, analyze documents, summarize information, translate languages, assist programmers, recognize objects, analyze medical data, and help businesses make decisions. But this is only the beginning. The next stage could involve AI agents that don't simply answer questions, but actually perform tasks. Imagine telling an AI system to research a market, identify potential customers, create a marketing campaign, analyze the results, and improve the strategy automatically. Businesses could use AI to reduce administrative work, improve customer service, optimize supply chains, forecast demand, and develop products faster. The economic impact could be enormous. The World Economic Forum reports that 86% of surveyed employers expect AI and information processing technologies to transform their businesses by 2030. AI and machine learning specialists are also among the fastest-growing job categories. But AI will not simply create software companies. It will affect medicine, finance, education, manufacturing, transportation, entertainment, agriculture, cybersecurity, and scientific research. The biggest opportunity may therefore belong to companies that combine AI with a specific industry. AI plus healthcare, AI plus finance, AI plus manufacturing, AI plus logistics, AI plus education. This means the AI economy could become much larger than today's software industry. And while AI changes the digital world, another industry is changing the physical world around us. Number 7. Electric vehicles and charging infrastructure. Transportation is entering one of the biggest transitions in its history. For more than a century, gasoline and diesel dominated road transportation. But electric vehicles are rapidly changing that equation. Electric cars are becoming more capable. Battery technology continues to improve, and charging infrastructure is expanding. And the EV industry is much bigger than simply manufacturing cars. It includes batteries, charging stations, software, power electronics, recycling, fleet management, electricity infrastructure, and specialized components. That means an electric vehicle can create economic opportunities across an entire supply chain. Consider charging infrastructure. If millions of electric vehicles are on the road, drivers need somewhere to charge them. That creates demand for charging stations at homes, workplaces, shopping centers, highways, parking garages, hotels, and commercial properties. The International Energy Agency projects that the global electric vehicle fleet, excluding 2- and 3-wheelers, could reach around 250 million vehicles by 2030 in its stated policy scenario, roughly 4 times the level at the end of 2024. The IEA also expects renewable electricity used by electric vehicles to account for a major share of growth in renewable transport energy through 2030. This creates an interesting business model. The future car may become less like a traditional mechanical product and more like a software-controlled computer on wheels. Companies could make money from charging, subscriptions, navigation, fleet services, battery management, and software. The transition won't happen equally everywhere, and challenges remain, including charging access, grid capacity, battery materials, and consumer affordability. But the direction is clear. Transportation is becoming increasingly electric. And when millions of vehicles require millions of charging points, an enormous supporting industry emerges. Number 6. Renewable energy. Now we move to one of the most important industries of the next decade, renewable energy. Solar panels, wind turbines, battery storage, smart grids, hydrogen, energy management. The global energy system is undergoing a major transformation. The reason is simple. Every economy needs energy. And as electricity demand grows from data centers, electric vehicles, industrial equipment, heating systems, and digital infrastructure, countries need to expand their electricity supply. Renewable energy is becoming increasingly important in that expansion. According to the International Energy Agency's 2025 Renewables Report, global renewable power capacity is expected to increase by around 4,600 gigawatts between 2025 and 2030, effectively doubling the world's renewable power capacity. Solar photovoltaic technology is expected to account for almost 80% of that increase. That is a massive expansion. But solar panels alone are not the entire story. The biggest challenge with renewable energy is that electricity production can fluctuate. The sun does not shine at night. Wind speeds change. Demand changes throughout the day. That is why energy storage becomes so important. Battery systems can store electricity when supply is high and release it when demand increases. At the same time, smarter electricity grids can coordinate millions of power sources, batteries, buildings, vehicles, and industrial customers. This creates entire new industries around energy software and infrastructure. By 2030, energy may increasingly look like a connected digital ecosystem rather than a simple system of large, centralized power plants. And the companies that build the infrastructure of that ecosystem could become extremely valuable. But energy is not the only area where science is moving rapidly. The next industry focuses on something even more valuable: human biology. Number 5. Biotechnology and personalized healthcare. Healthcare has always been a massive industry, but biotechnology could make it dramatically more advanced. Traditional medicine often treats patients according to broad categories. The future could increasingly involve personalized treatment based on genetics, biomarkers, medical history, lifestyle, and real-time health information. Biotechnology includes areas such as genetic engineering, advanced diagnostics, cell therapies, precision medicine, synthetic biology, and pharmaceutical innovation. One of the biggest opportunities is early detection. The earlier a disease can be identified, the more opportunities doctors may have to treat it. That is why companies are investing in advanced diagnostic technologies capable of analyzing enormous quantities of biological information. AI is also becoming an important part of this transformation. Imagine a system that can analyze medical images, genetic information, laboratory results, and patient history far faster than a human could manually process them. The goal isn't necessarily to replace doctors. It is to give doctors better information. At the same time, biotechnology could change how medicines are developed. Drug discovery traditionally takes years and can cost enormous amounts of money. Advanced computing, AI, biological databases, and automated laboratories could potentially accelerate parts of this process. This creates a powerful combination. Computing becomes more powerful. Biological data becomes more available. Laboratories become more automated. And artificial intelligence becomes better at analyzing complex information. Together, these trends could create a new era of medicine. But there is another demographic force driving healthcare growth: aging populations. As people live longer, demand rises for healthcare services, diagnostics, medical devices, rehabilitation, home care, and technologies that help people maintain quality of life. That makes biotechnology and healthcare two industries with enormous long-term demand. And the next industry could affect not only humans, but the way we produce food. Number 4. Ag-tech and smart agriculture. Agriculture is one of the oldest industries on Earth, but it could become one of the most technologically advanced. The global population needs food. At the same time, farmers face changing weather patterns, water shortages, rising costs, labor challenges, and pressure to produce more using fewer resources. Technology offers potential solutions. Smart agriculture can use sensors, drones, satellites, AI, robotics, GPS systems, automated irrigation, and precision farming. Instead of treating an entire field exactly the same, farmers can increasingly monitor individual areas. One section may need water, another may need nutrients, another may require pest control. Data allows farmers to make these decisions more precisely. That can reduce waste and potentially improve productivity. Then there are agricultural robots. Machines can monitor crops, remove weeds, harvest certain products, and perform repetitive tasks. Drones can scan fields from above. Satellites can provide information about crop health. AI can analyze all this data and identify patterns that humans might miss. The World Economic Forum expects farm workers to experience some of the largest absolute job growth through 2030, demonstrating that agriculture remains a major part of the future economy even as technology transforms how farming is done. This is an important point. The future of agriculture is not necessarily fewer farmers. It may be more technology per farmer. One farmer equipped with automation, sensors, satellite data, and intelligent machinery could potentially manage much more land than previous generations. And as food security becomes increasingly important, investment in agricultural technology could accelerate. But our next industry is perhaps even more surprising, because the future may not only depend on producing more resources, it may depend on controlling the information that runs the entire economy. Number 3. Semiconductors and advanced computing. Almost every modern technology depends on semiconductors. Your smartphone, your laptop, your electric vehicle, your data center, your smart appliances, your industrial robots, your AI systems, all depend on chips. And as technology becomes more intelligent, the demand for computing power increases. AI is especially important here. Training and running advanced AI systems requires enormous amounts of computing infrastructure. That means demand for powerful processors, memory, networking equipment, specialized AI chips, and energy-efficient computing technologies is increasing. The semiconductor industry is therefore becoming a strategic industry for governments and businesses around the world. Countries want secure access to advanced chips because modern economies depend on them. At the same time, chip manufacturing is becoming increasingly complex. Factories require massive investments, highly specialized equipment, advanced materials, and extremely precise manufacturing processes. But the opportunity extends beyond traditional computer chips. The future includes specialized processors for AI, autonomous vehicles, robotics, telecommunications, industrial systems, and edge computing. Imagine a world where intelligence is embedded into everything. Cameras don't simply record, they analyze. Cars don't simply move, they understand their environment. Factories don't simply manufacture, they predict failures. Robots don't simply follow instructions, they adapt. All of this requires computing. That makes semiconductors one of the foundational industries of the 2030 economy. And now we reach our number 2 industry, one that sits at the intersection of AI, finance, automation, and global commerce. Number 2. FinTech and digital financial services. Money is becoming increasingly digital. People already use smartphones to send money, pay bills, invest, borrow, and manage bank accounts. But financial technology is moving far beyond mobile banking. FinTech companies are building new payment systems, digital banking platforms, automated investment tools, financial analytics, fraud detection systems, lending platforms, and business finance software. Artificial intelligence is becoming especially powerful in financial services. AI can analyze transactions, identify suspicious behavior, evaluate financial information, automate customer support, and help institutions make decisions. Digital financial services can also expand access. Someone who has never visited a traditional bank may still be able to access financial products through a smartphone. This is particularly important in emerging markets where mobile connectivity can grow faster than traditional banking infrastructure. The World Economic Forum identifies FinTech engineers among the fastest-growing job roles toward 2030, highlighting how rapidly technology and finance are converging. But the biggest opportunity may be the infrastructure underneath digital finance. Businesses need systems that can move money instantly. They need identity verification. They need fraud prevention. They need cybersecurity. They need automated compliance. They need reliable payment networks. As global commerce becomes more digital, financial infrastructure becomes more important. And that brings us to the number 1 fastest growing industry on our list. Number 1. AI-powered digital infrastructure. At number 1 is a category that connects almost everything we've discussed. AI-powered digital infrastructure. Why place this above AI itself? Because AI cannot operate without infrastructure. Every AI application requires computing power. Computing requires chips. Chips require data centers. Data centers require electricity. Electricity increasingly requires renewable energy and storage. Businesses need cybersecurity to protect the systems. And organizations need software platforms to connect everything together. This creates an enormous ecosystem. Think about what happens when you ask an AI system a question. Behind that simple interaction could be servers, processors, networking equipment, cooling systems, electricity, cloud infrastructure, cybersecurity systems, databases, and software. The visible AI application may be only the tip of the iceberg. Underneath it is a massive industrial infrastructure, and that infrastructure could expand dramatically by 2030. Data centers are becoming critical pieces of economic infrastructure because companies increasingly depend on cloud computing, AI, digital services, and large-scale data processing. The future may therefore require enormous investments in computing capacity. But there is another important element: energy. AI systems require electricity. Data centers require electricity. Electric vehicles require electricity. Industrial electrification requires electricity. Digital infrastructure and energy infrastructure are becoming increasingly connected. This creates opportunities for companies that can build more efficient chips, smarter cooling systems, renewable-powered data centers, advanced batteries, high-speed networks, and intelligent energy management systems. In other words, the future economy could be built on an invisible layer of infrastructure that most people never see. And that may be where some of the biggest fortunes of the next decade are created. The bigger picture. So, what can we learn from these 10 industries? Cybersecurity protects the digital economy. Robotics automates the physical economy. Artificial intelligence transforms decision-making. Electric vehicles transform transportation. Renewable energy transforms power generation. Biotechnology transforms healthcare. Smart agriculture transforms food production. Semiconductors provide the computing power. FinTech transforms money. And AI-powered infrastructure connects everything together. But there is one important lesson. The fastest-growing industries are not growing independently. They are connected. AI needs semiconductors. Semiconductors need energy. Data centers need renewable electricity. Electric vehicles need batteries and charging infrastructure. Charging infrastructure depends on electricity grids. Robots need AI. AI needs data. Financial technology needs cybersecurity. Healthcare increasingly needs AI and biotechnology. Agriculture increasingly needs automation and data. This creates a network effect. When one industry grows, it can accelerate several others. That is why the economy of 2030 could look dramatically different from the economy of 2020. The World Economic Forum estimates that 170 million jobs could be created globally by 2030, while 92 million could be displaced, resulting in a net increase of 78 million jobs. The organization also estimates that roughly 39% of workers' existing skill sets could be transformed or become outdated during the 2025-2030 period. That tells us something important. The future is not simply about finding the biggest industry. It is about understanding where the world is moving. If technology becomes more intelligent, skills related to AI, data, software, cybersecurity, and digital systems become more valuable. If the world becomes more electrified, renewable energy, batteries, charging infrastructure, and power systems become more important. If populations age, healthcare and care services become more valuable. If food demand rises while resources become limited, agricultural technology becomes increasingly important. The businesses that understand these connections may have a major advantage. Final thoughts. By 2030, some of today's biggest companies may still dominate their industries. But there is also a strong possibility that entirely new companies will emerge. Some may start with a small team and a powerful idea. Others may grow by combining technologies that currently exist separately. The next billion-dollar company might not look like a traditional corporation. It could be an AI company solving an industrial problem, a cybersecurity company protecting millions of devices, a robotics company automating warehouses, a charging network connecting electric vehicles, a biotechnology company developing personalized treatments, a semiconductor company building specialized AI processors, or an energy company creating a smarter electricity system. The biggest opportunities are often created when technological change meets a huge human need. And that is exactly what these 10 industries represent. They are not guarantees of success. Markets can change. Technologies can fail. Regulations can slow adoption. Competition can destroy profits. And some forecasts will inevitably be wrong. But one thing is difficult to ignore. The global economy is entering a period of enormous transformation. Artificial intelligence is becoming more capable. Robots are becoming more intelligent. Transportation is becoming more electric. Energy is becoming more renewable. Healthcare is becoming more personalized. Agriculture is becoming more data-driven. Finance is becoming more digital. And computing is becoming the foundation of almost everything. So, if you're trying to understand where the world's economy is heading by 2030, don't just watch the biggest companies. Watch the industries underneath them. Because the companies building the infrastructure of the future could become the giants of the next decade. And the most interesting part? The future economy is not waiting until 2030 to begin. It's already being built today.